Hey everybody, this is the Post Movie Podcast. I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
And on this episode, we're going to talk about new home video releases. And we've got more than a few. I should have said that in an upbeat way. And we've got more than a few.
Well, the thing is, the good thing about what we do is we're not going to, these are recommendations of things we think you should see. So we're not just going to say, you know, I saw 30 movies this week and 28 of them sucked. I'm just going to tell you about the two that were good.
Can you? Did you?
This week no, I was in the mid-20s this week. But I've had these things. It's not like I start on Monday and end on Friday. Some of them I've had for a while. You know, there's a lot of BBC episode stuff that
Yeah, but we see a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And as I was saying before, it's hard to like as we've been doing it, we would do like a couple of movie reviews and then get into the home video stuff, and then we were like, man, we got just more to talk about.
Yeah.
Cannot shut us up. Some people would like to shut us up.
If you want to shut us up, there's a donation button, and when we reach a certain amount, let's say $10,000, we'll shut up.
That would be a good goal.
Yeah, we should have a telethon. $10,000. We'll shut up. We're on the air for 36 hours, and we're going to stay on the air until we get $10,000.
I don't know where this is going to go, but you know what? Hurricane Irene led to me being able to watch more home video than I would have typically done, and I watch a lot of crap.
It's the upside.
Is that a good thing to say or a bad thing?
No, it's an honest thing. We all watch a lot of crap. You know, but we're not sitting at home watching soap operas or the NBC Funny Time programming or whatever. We're not watching that crap. We at least make the effort we have to put something in the machine. We have to make a decision to okay.
Well, there is really cool stuff out there. You know, I mean, getting back to if there were a couple of things I watch on TV, it's always Turner Classic Movies and then stuff on demand. Turner Classic Movies, Simpsons, Family Guy, and stuff on demand. Or the Fox Movie Channel is actually pretty good too. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Are there commercials? Are they edited for TV?
I don't think there's commercials on there, but they have good commentary about their films. I mean, like when they do a series, on of Marilyn Monroe films and stuff like that. When they do like series of like action films from the 70s,
right?
It's good.
The toughest part now is
stuff from the vault that they wouldn't typically show on Turner Classic Movies.
And the toughest part for me now is it's football season, so I have to work on my film reviewing around football.
Maybe there's a way you can combine the two.
I could watch North Dallas 40,
Longest Yard,
Unnecessary Roughness.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of good football movies.
No,
maybe a future episode. I'll do Solo, the greatest football movies ever. You've seen Brian's songs, right?
Yeah.
Did you cry?
Yeah. I remember that as a kid, being a Bear fan. Gail Sayre.
I love Brian Piccolo. James Caan and Billy D. Billy D. Williams and James Caan. Oh, yeah, it was one of those ABC Movie of the Week things.
How about Something for Joey?
Never saw it.
You never saw Something for Joey?
No. Sounds awful.
It was a cancer flick.
Not gonna.
True
not
story,
Nope. No more cancer flicks.
I forget the player's name.
Anyway, I can see an important film event in your hand right now.
And what is it?
Captain America, not the one that's recently in theaters.
The re-released 1992 edition, directed by Albert Pune, our buddy.
Now, come on. We had talked
Purveyor of classically lame cinematic content.
We had talked about movies that were so bad they were enjoyable. You didn't enjoy this one?
I did. I think it's because I have the impression of being, super bad, and then there's moments of it that aren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. Like Matt Salinger as Captain America wasn't that bad.
Right.
But the movie is fucking abysmal.
No, it's
just chintzy.
Oh yeah, it's chintzy. It's cheesy.
Good chintz that you can do in 1992, but there was. I mean, God, when did Jurassic Park come out? You still had the ability to do something.
Not on this budget.
But not on this budget. Yeah.
The fact that Captain America looks like he's wearing a rubber suit, and the Red Skull has
but it was a rubber suit in the sense that Batman was a rubber suit.
Right.
That kind of comic.
And the Red Skull looks like he got his mask at Spencer Gifts.
Yeah.
But it's still, it's one of those things where I'm glad I saw it. It was cheesy. I will never watch it again.
Yeah, I don't think I will either. Why is it just? It's just such a representative film from it's like it was made in the 90s, but it still has this like 80s leftover feel to it with the chintzy synthesizer music and
God, yeah.
the acting, the direct. Oh my God! You know, you can tell that they're actually talented actors working. This is an example of working under a bad director.
Yeah. What else did the director do?
Nemesis, Cyborg, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Wow, he's got quite the resume.
Which I really wanted to like at the time, but it's just horrible. But this does have Ned Beatty and Darren McGavin. Darren McGavin is the president. And Ned Beatty is, I think he was the president. Yeah.
No, he was the army guy.
The army guy?
Yeah, he was like the general that was a traitor. Ned Beatty was the reporter.
Dillon from Empire of the Sun. Michael Nouri. Who was the guy who played Red Skull?
I don't know.
Yeah, you sound like you're really into it.
Well, no, I was trying to. I thought we'd finish this one.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I'm persisting. I'm trying to find something in this
film. We've got a stack of other things. Just let it go.
Yeah, Captain America. It's new. It's amusing. Check it out if you want.
All right, I've got this one called The Perfect Host. It stars David Hyde Pierce and a guy named Clayne Crawford. Clayne Crawford is he's a bank robber. He robs a bank. He gets injured. He's on the run from the police. He goes to this house. He takes the postcard out of the mailbox and it's from this girl Amy. So he goes up to the door and knocks on the door. Hey, I'm a friend of Amy's. I just got mugged. Can you help me? And David Hyde Pierce is the guy who helps him. Well, it turns out David Hyde Pierce is a psycho who basically kidnaps and tortures this guy. But it's so funny because it's Fraser Cain's brother.
Yeah.
It's the guy from Frasier.
Or Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah, it's just David Hyde Pierce. He's such a weenie, but he's such an evil prick in this movie. It falls apart a little bit at the end, but for the two-hander with just two guys, and David Hyde Pierce thinks he's having a dinner party with these imaginary friends he talks to while he is torturing this guy. It's twisted, but I got a big kick out of it. And there's a lady who plays his crazy neighbor, and I'm looking at her, I'm going, who is that woman? Who is that woman? That woman is Helen Reddy.
Really?
Yeah. And so I was like, wow, that's weird casting. So anyway, it's creepy, it's fun. I would check it out.
Cool. Man, what Sarah and I watched the other day was Diana, the best of Diana Rigg on the BBC, which is this 5-disc set. And she digged some different parts of we had our, I guess it covers the board, because the first disc has her early stuff from the 60s.
Yeah.
And one of these things, and the 70s, and one of the pieces they do is called Wonderful Woman, where she plays this Wonder Woman who is the wife of Bob Hoskins, a young Bob Hoskins from like 76, 75, and they just in this like freaky Wonder Woman costume where he comes home from work, he finds out that she's Wonder Woman. They get into an argument about why they've been living together and he didn't get it, what was going on, but she's under this time constraint that she has to go out and save the world. So this argument is basically delaying from doing that. But anyway, but Sarah was digging these shows called the Miss Bradley Mysteries. Okay. And these, I guess, were from the 90s. It's all over the board. It's the best of Diana Rigg at the BBC.
She was Emma Peel.
She's
so
like
hot.
Super tall, man.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
she's like
how tall
9 feet, something like that.
Something like that. It doesn't have any Avengers stuff on here as far as I can tell, but Morecambe and Wise pieces and some extra video features.
She's a good actress and she's hot. So.
Very hot. 5 discs of stuff. Diana Rigg at the BBC, brand new.
All right, speaking of hot, I watched this, there's this show, I guess it's on the USA Network called Nikita.
Yeah.
Based on La Femme Nikita and then the remake of La Femme Nikita. Right. Basically, this girl who was, she's a runaway. She gets picked up, trained to be an assassin by a shadow agency of the U.S. government. She decides to revolt against them and goes out and, tracks down all the killers. Huh. I'm showing a picture to Steve of why I watched this. Maggie Q. It's like anytime I watch, especially a network show that's like recent, and I get it on, like, here's the first season.
She was Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah. She get this
Asian fighting chick.
The Asian fighting chick. You get these shows, and there's like 22 episodes, and you start watching them, and after like 3, you're like, God, they're all the same. The holes in the plot are just bigger and bigger with each episode, but I didn't care. She's a pretty good actress, and they dress her up like beautiful eye candy, and she kicks ass. I was happy with just that, so I would recommend that for your viewing pleasure.
Cool. That does look good.
Yeah.
Man, we got 3 films from Oscilloscope
Yes.
that are new to home video. One that I really digged. I don't think you digged it. Meek's Cut Off.
Oh yeah, that was the one everyone was amazed I liked. Yeah, although
Really?
Who's the star in it again?
Michelle Williams.
Yeah,
I'm like, who is? How could you not?
It's been a
remember
while. I know the DVD doesn't come out for a while, so I haven't seen it. But did you notice how big her hands are? She has flippers.
Well,
absolute flippers.
I guess you could make the case that she has man hands, but
She
it's
does.
not a case that I.
You'll notice if viewers.
Maybe they just had somebody else doing her insert shots. You know?
They got stunt hands to look that big.
They have stunt hands for actors all the time.
But why would you?
I used to do these things.
Why would you pick? Why would you pick such
because their
man
schedules
hands for? But she's just standing there with her hands on her hips. They don't need to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
it's just. But
so
I mean,
then you're
it's
talking like even in full frame, you can tell that she has man.
Oh yeah,
hands.
these aren't like stunt moments or like a hand on a trigger or something. She just has big hands.
Wow.
But it didn't.
If that's what she has, is like, then that's the one non-feminine thing she has about her. She's
her giant
incredibly
hands.
attractive. Filmed by Kelly Reichert. Loved her Wendy and Lucy, as you know.
That movie.
Yeah.
I hated that movie.
Yep. Yeah.
But
Ended
this
up
one,
liking
it's
this
just
one.
pioneers going across the country.
They're just looking for water. And my brother Mike said the other day, it's like Rango.
Well, yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
sort of like Rango.
Not really. Maybe if there's some water on the other side of the hill, and maybe if they can trust that Indian, is he leading him to water, or is he leading him to their deaths?
That's the thing about this movie. Even though not much happens, there's so much going on.
It's subtle. It's subtle. There's this subtle power play going on, and
subtlety's
Michelle Williams'
usually lost
character
on
is
me.
very, she's the stone cold center.
With the big hands.
With the big hands. Oscilloscope also has the documentary If a Tree Falls, which was disturbing. It's about the story of the Earth Liberation Front and what these guys did to inhibit logging in the Pacific Northwest by spreading fear, calling in some threats, and then acting on those threats. But the movie, it sort of goes into this whole thing about like, what is a terrorist?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, these guys were guilty. They did something truly horrible, but did they do the same kind of thing as that can be classified as like bombing the World Trade Center? But then, we define terrorism as spreading fear,
Right.
which is kind of what they did to these loggers. It becomes sort of about that. About being punished
their crimes are post 9/11, so the stakes are raised.
Oh yeah, so the punishment for what they did was very extreme.
I was wondering if I'd seen this film when I was 20, if I would react different to it now that I'm 50.
Well, it's because they're following these members of the Earth Liberation Front. You develop a certain sympathy for them, but you also see where they're kind of absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
So it's like
I have very
you don't
little
really
tolerance.
have that answer.
Yeah.
But it raises some interesting questions. You have a little tolerance for what?
Hippies.
Yeah, this is kind of this is also, I will say, an imbalanced documentary.
Yeah.
It's very much from the activism point of view.
Yeah.
Although they do interview the people at the logging companies
briefly,
so they do get their perspective. So
yeah.
Anywho,
I didn't see this one, Rebirth.
Rebirth is a 9/11 documentary that's been made over the course of the past 10 years, and it follows 4 people whose lives were gravely affected by what happened on September 11th, and it interviews them at 1-year intervals, all the way up until, I guess, maybe a couple of years ago. But you see how their opinions have changed. First we learn about them and the loved ones they lost, and then we learn about how they've changed and how their outlook on things have changed. And it's really devastating in the sense that the movie begins with the 911 calls, the emergency cries for help, and you never see the footage of what happened at the World Trade Center, but you get descriptions of it and the very disturbing things, and the not seeing it works just as well as having seen some pretty horrific stuff, and the movie kind of it doesn't. do something which is easily affecting, which is showing you what happened there, but you get it from their perspective,
right?
The people who love these people that they lost, and and what they thought of the people who did this, and the stuff, and how their lives have changed. Like there was this one Chinese woman who was working at one of the stock brokerage firms in the World Trade Center when she was disfigured by the huge explosion that went on up there, and she was one of the few people who woke up, and we get to see over the course of the years how she's healed and how she's dealt with it. The reconstruction of like a side of her face.
Is it graphic?
Body. There's a couple graphic shots, but it's their stories.
Yeah.
There's the people who were affected, obviously, that weren't there, but this woman has like this insider's view. She just like blacked out, doesn't even know how she really got out of there. But she survived the fireball, and was able to get out, and it's quite an amazing thing. So this is, in a way, it's like a Herculean effort of a documentary.
Right.
And it's very interesting to see. I don't think I could experience it again. And there's a whole. I've only seen the main feature, which is disc 1. There's some extra features and stuff on disc 2.
Well, I've got
Rebirth.
I'm saving that one because I've got 2 other 9/11 documentaries waiting to be seen. I'm just going to do a story on Event Guide that's just, here's 3 9/11 documentaries. I made it through 1, which is actually a pretty interesting one. And I've got one from the History Channel that's like 2 disc, and then this is 2 disc. So
it's a lot of stuff. Yeah,
it's a lot of 9/11 memories. We're going to be inundated. It's only the 2nd of, we've got another 9 days, and then my birthday is the 12th, and it ruins my birthday. Because everyone's got, celebrate me, damn it. There is life. It's me.
Wet Hot American Summer was released, I think, on the Friday prior to this coming out. And I remember the film because, like, I had seen it twice that weekend. And, like on the Sunday night before, and I was like, oh, man, I can't wait to share this. I was going to talk to my brother today about this great movie that I saw. And I think Zoolander also came out, like, in that time.
Yeah.
Which was another great comedy that kind of got buried by the
so
events of 9/11. Yeah. And then Tenacious D's album, their first album, came out that Tuesday, I think, September 11th. another media milestone that was.
You can't really blame the terrorists on that.
Then I remember, were you going to go to New York to do the collateral damage interviews at that time? Because I was set up to do collateral damage. I did too. It was originally set up, I think, for that weekend, or the weekend after, and they postponed it till. God, when did they do? Did they push it back to February?
I don't remember.
Something like that.
It's all a blur. That was 10 years ago. Come on.
It was a blur.
All right, here's one.
What else you got?
Well, as anyone who heard us do the podcast about Cars 2, Cars 3, Cars 2, I'm a huge Larry the Cable Guy fan. And it's a limited crowd. He has a series on the History Channel called Only in America with Larry the Cable Guy. It's a travel show, and he goes around to places that most mainstream travel shows ignore. He goes and some of it's because he's a redneck comic. When he goes to make moonshine, it's kind of a given. But he also he does everything from roller skate with roller derby girls in Las Vegas to he goes and makes cabbage with the Amish. He just
cabbage with the Amish.
Yeah, it's really participatory journalism at its finest, because he just rolls up his sleeves and sits with people. He loves people, and he loves what they do.
You say participatory journalism at its finest with your eyebrow going way up, like
did I? Maybe, or maybe not at his finest, but I just admire the guy. Because he does do his Larry the Cable Guy shtick occasionally, but he also talks to people and interviews them, and it's a different side of America. You're not going to see Anthony Bourdain or any of the other people.
Of Larry the Cable Guy here.
Yeah. I think it's a hoot.
I assume he has a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Is he a sweetheart or is he a jerk?
He's a sweetheart. He is. I've interviewed him once, and the Cable Guy is a character he plays. But he's a pretty smart guy, and I just like his version of America. It's patriotism on its sleeve, loving his country, kind of stuff, which is as cynical a prick as I can be. It's refreshing for me. So
is this? Does he have a series on the History Channel?
Yeah,
or is this just a.
No, this is they just released Volume 1, which has 10 episodes. He goes to the Emily Post house in Vermont to get etiquette lessons. It's pretty funny. Anyway, I recommend
That'd be amusing. Man, you wanted to talk about If, the Lindsay Anderson film.
Yes.
You want to do that now?
No.
I mean,
have you finished it?
I have not.
Have you done the extras? This is one movie.
I've done half of the extras.
Yeah.
I saw half of the piece.
We can save it because I think it's one of those movies.
On the BBC's making of the film.
Yeah, I think it's one of those movies where it's
a piece that aired on the BBC about the making of the film.
Right. I think it's good to do all the homework before you see it almost because it hasn't really aged that well. But
I did do my homework on Jack Benny though. I watched 3 episodes of the Jack Benny.
Wasn't
show
it
last night.
awesome?
I really dig it. I've always loved Jack Benny.
Yeah.
I've always, just
he's one of those.
It's just his guest appearances. He just on radio or TV.
He had comic timing, perfect comic timing. I mean, and just when
insightful too.
Yeah, and he had the persona that he was a cheapskate, and that. So there's a couple of those jokes, but there's moments in this, and it's one of those Mill Creek box sets.
Right. Well, what I'm talking about is the Best of Jack Benny,
right?
Which is now out from Mill Creek Entertainment. 39 episodes from his TV show from 1950 to 65,
and it's cheap too. It's like only
$10,
something like that. And they're old. What did you think about the cigarette commercials? Did you want a Lucky Strike?
Yes,
Did you want a Lucky Strike?
Is that amazing that they keep those in there with the fella sitting behind the desk who owns the racetrack talking about how these are the smoothest, most tightly packed, freshest cigarettes you can get, and then the lady singing the Lucky Strike theme songs.
And they also have to work a Lucky Strike ad into the script.
They do. They had the
Humphrey Bogart,
the hula dancers.
Yeah,
in the Jack Benny Goes to Hawaii episode.
And there's an episode where Humphrey Bogart is the guest star, and they have Humphrey Bogart do a Lucky Strike commercial work into the dialogue.
I haven't seen that
hilarious.
one, but the one with the hula dancer, she's dancing with the cigarette.
Yeah. I think it's, and to me that
that's crossover.
It's a different time.
Ad in the show.
Sometimes you get these box sets where they cut out all the cigarette ads and stuff, but I love the fact that they have them.
This even left in the CBS TV title cards.
Yeah.
You've still got there. So
and above all, it's just throwback, funny stuff.
Yeah.
There's
whatever happened to Lucky Strike?
I think you can still get them, right?
Yeah.
There's who is the?
I watched the one episode where Martin and Lewis come in at the end.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Where the Bob Hope and Jack went to Africa.
Huh.
So the road to
There's one where he's got a singer on.
Oh, the Marilyn Monroe one. Did you see that? That was the Hawaii one.
Right.
Yeah.
There's one where he's got like a pop idol singer, and I wish I could remember the guy's name, but he was one of these, Johnny Ray. He was one of these guys. He sang so passionately he would cry during his songs, and it just the Bobby Soxers would go crazy. And Jack invites him onto the show, but he wants too much money. So he goes over to see him at the hotel to find out why he wants so much money. And the guy starts to sing, and Jack Benny loses his shit. He starts tearing his clothes off and rolling around like a little girl. And it's just hilarious. He's this icon, comic icon, and he goes for it. It's just comedy gold. Even if one episode kind of drags, like I watched the episode where we had Liberace as a guest, and I was like, come on, no one knew this guy was gay.
Liberace. Oh, that's on the first. You're right. I'll be
come on.
Definitely checking that one out.
But,
this too, they've got the Jack Benny Hour with guest stars Bob Hope, the Beach Boys, Elkie Summer, and Walt Disney.
See, now, kids out there, watch Elkie Summer. She was
Elkie Summer,
she was
man.
my
I think
Britney.
70s.
Yeah.
I think 70s Elkie Summer. And then I think Elkie. That's what they named the fucking cat in The Towering Inferno. Like it was a popular name in the 70s.
Really? That's a piece of trivia that's got to go. But if Netflix Elkie Summers, and she's got these artsy French movies, like black and white artsy French movies that are awful. But I've watched them all.
Summer, man. Is she still alive?
In my heart, yes. I don't know if she is in reality.
In the 70s.
I bet she's
I'm going to have
still
to
hot.
Wikipedia her.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Wikipedia.
All right. Here's one from the Criterion Collection, Secret Sunshine by director Lee Chang-dong.
I have not seen it.
Man, this has one of the best performances I've ever seen an actress give. Gut-wrenching performance by Jean Do-yeon.
Question mark.
Yeah. It's about a woman. her husband's passed away, and she decides to move back to the hometown where he grew up, searching for some kind of connection with him. And while she's there, she says she's going to buy a plot of land. She likes living there. Word gets out that she's rich. Someone kidnaps her son. Her son dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just how it's almost, these details don't matter because it's how this woman's life unravels as things start happening to her. She finds God, and then that unravels on her. It's the most gut-wrenching, powerful performance I've seen in decades. It was just stunning.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's almost 2.5 hours long, and it's subtitled, and it takes a while to get through. But just keep your eyes on her when it drags, because she's amazing.
I will. So. I definitely want to see. I only heard about this last month, so I have not seen it yet. Secret Sunshine, new from Criterion. Man, don't be pissed at me.
I am so pissed. Why?
Scarface.
Okay.
I'm not talking about Scarface from 1982, although that is out on Blu-ray now. And perhaps we'll be talking about it in
What Scarface are you talking about?
We're talking about the original.
Paul Muni?
Yeah, which I watched last night, which they offer it as a 2-disc set. You get the original Scarface in the new version, in the new Blu-ray release of Scarface. So I watched the original last night. Wow.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, really enthralling, riveting. I mean, what a performance by Paul Muni. And the women in the movie, terrific. I particularly liked about this DVD was the introduction by Robert Osborne.
Okay.
They have the Turner Classic Movies introduction with him. Plus, they also have not the original ending, but the alternate ending that I believe Osborne explains was mandated by the state of New York because the film was not, they had different censors in different areas of the United States at that time, and it couldn't get past the censors in New York, even though I guess Warner Brothers or I guess whoever there was, they tried to make changes to it. Couldn't get past the censors in New York. Even filmed a new ending for it, a very condemning ending of the acts that appear in the film.
Right.
It's just lame compared to the carnage that you actually get in the original version.
When did it come out? Was it
1931, I think? 32. No, it was 32.
It's not shocking, but it's quite violent.
Yeah.
It's not graphic, but it's intense. For that time period too. It's a good film.
So I do recommend that, and I don't know if it's available separately, but you get it in the 2-disc set. So I'll be watching Scarface this week.
Okay.
Man, hey, so let us know what you think of the show, everyone. We'd love to hear from you. We will definitely email you back, but we want to know if we're doing a good job. We want to know if we're getting our crap right. We want to know if we're getting our shit right. Should I say shit or crap?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, we want to know if we want to getting our shit and our crap right. So let us know. We're at contact@post-movie.net, and all of our episodes are online at post-movie.net, so you can check them out there.
Is that where the donation button is, Steve?
That's where the donation button is, man.
I'm going to be bringing it up until unless we make $1 on this.
I haven't even checked, to tell you the truth.
It's probably millions. We're sitting on a load of money.
What do they do? Like, if somebody makes a donation via PayPal, do they send you an email or something like that?
I don't know.
I would just like.
So we could be sitting on a fortune.
I don't know. It's there. Embarrassingly, it exists. Yeah. I'm like, okay, donation button. Anyway, all right. We're on iTunes. So if you can leave us a review at iTunes, we'd greatly appreciate it. And we're also posting our stuff to Facebook, which we comment on there from time to time. Facebook, I don't know.
It's for the kids.
We'll hold a conversation on Facebook if anybody wants to hang out there. Do leave a comment. So send us an email. Like I said, contact@post-movie.net. So until next time, I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
So long, everyone.